She's been a huge part of BYU's success on the basketball court, but not only that, she has been all about promoting women in sports and empowering women in sports and being an advocate for them. So for her last stop on her media tour, it was only fitting that we fit her into the show. I sat down with Tegan Graham. Tegan, let's start with your time here. For people who don't know, you came here as a grad transfer. Tell us a little bit about your journey coming to BYU.
Yeah, I think honestly BYU was more of a shot in the dark, honestly. I entered the transfer portal after my senior year at Colgate, and I was kind of like, oh, I'll see what opportunities I get. But I wasn't expecting that much. And then I got some really cool looks, and I got a little bit excited. And yeah, BYU kind of just stood out because they really pushed. Ray Stewart was like calling me every single day, and I just really felt like they wanted me, and I wanted to feel wanted. I didn't have the greatest basketball experience at my law school, so I really wanted an experience where, the basketball was kind of a place that I could thrive, and I felt like BYU could be that place. But honestly, I didn't even visit here before I committed because of COVID, and so it really was just kind of a shot in the dark, and I think it worked out.
I would say it worked out too. As you look back on these 2 years, how would you describe your time here?
How would I describe my time? Honestly, I think there's just been a lot of joy. Like, I really found my love for basketball again at BYU. I think this program's amazing. I think that there's just an environment here where you can have fun and it's safe to have fun. And I feel like that should be a given in college athletics in general, and college basketball too. But unfortunately, I feel like a lot of the time that joy aspect is missed, and I'm just really grateful that I got that opportunity to have fun and enjoy the game that I grew up loving, and the reason I wanted to come to America in the first place.
As you think about some of those joyful moments, what are some of your favorite memories that you've had here?
There's so many. Honestly, like, winning basketball games, there's nothing more fun than that. But I think the joyful moments, a lot of them came off the court. I think a lot of them had to do with, like just interactions, engagements with the team. Team meals were always so much fun. Everyone talks about it, but they really were. And then I honestly loved coming to practice every single day. And I think that there's power in that, because there's so many people that play a college sport that don't enjoy practice. So again, I think honestly the day-to-day routine just gave me so much happiness, which gave me so much peace in doing it, right? Because it's a lot of work and you sacrifice a lot. But yeah, honestly, I love the moments I got to spend off the court with my team, and I just love seeing them every day and being able to compete with them.
Well, and seeing you guys on the court, it was so fun to watch you this past season, and it was such a great season. How would you describe the success and what contributed to that for you guys?
Honestly, I think it started with our culture. I think we have a really strong culture here where we expect, success, or we expect great performances and to do really well. And then to build on that, obviously we had a super talented team. They'll continue to be really talented, but this year alone we just had a lot of the right pieces. And we just enjoyed playing with each other. So I think all those things added together are kind of a good recipe, because sometimes you can have the pieces and lack the chemistry, right? So I think we had the pieces and we had this great team chemistry where we all wanted to win for each other, and we did a lot of that this year.
It feels like it was because of some of those elements that Cougar Nation was so invested in this team. I think back to the Gonzaga game. Record-breaking attendance. It was so fun. Why do you think so many fans were so invested this year in you guys as a team?
Honestly, I think because we were so successful, we got more exposure. And that exposure led to more people realizing that we're a really fun team to watch. But I don't think that's just been this year. I just think that, we had some pretty exceptional success, and so that gave us a little bit more, or gave people more access to us. So yeah, I think they just enjoyed the team dynamic more than anything else, right? Because this program in the past has typically won a lot of games. But I think it's just, again, there's that chemistry aspect where when you come to watch us play, or even if you're just around us in practice or, you know, off the court, you can see that we genuinely like each other and we genuinely want to be around each other. And I think people are attracted to that because it's fun, right? It's you want to be part of this joyous experience, and you want to feel part of that community almost. And so I think we did a really good job of building that community here.
Absolutely. I mean, I've been in your practices and watching you guys play and joke around with each other. You can tell that you guys were having so much fun all the time. Let's get a little bit to your podcast, Second Class Citizens. If you could describe it, just obviously it goes into so much detail, but just a general basic overview for the audience, how would you describe it?
So I would say Second Class Citizens is a podcast that looks at gender inequity in Division I athletics, NCAA Division I athletics, and basically it just covers kind of like the issues, and then, you know, the different elements of those issues, and then rounds out with some solutions to kind of close the gap, the gender equity gap in college sports.
And in terms of some of those solutions, obviously there's a lot of sports fans that watch and are invested in you and BYU athletics. So what are some of those solutions that people can take away that is a message you want to resonate with them?
Yeah, that was a big goal of mine, just kind of exposure and education, because I think a lot of people don't really understand the whole kind of issue here. But I would say there's kind of three big things, or three big takeaways from my podcast, hopefully, that people take. And that would be promotion, so universities, you know, really investing in, you know, marketing and promoting their women's teams. And then you have the media and the coverage, which is just like, there needs to be more women's sports coverage, right, in general, professional, amateur, college, anything, right? And then investment, right? I think the NCAA has not done a great job of creating a model where people want to invest in women's sports. But that's all the way down. That's universities, that's donors. I think it's really hard to make money, you know, when there's no money put into something, right? I feel like that's a kind of a basic investment structure. But yeah, I feel like the facts and the numbers are there to show that women's sports are ripe. They just need to be given that space or that opportunity to grow.
And we talked a little bit about the Gonzaga BYU game and how important that was. How do you feel like you've seen that in your career here as well?
Yeah, I think BYU, obviously my podcast was not about BYU,
right.
But I think BYU is starting to make steps in the right direction, right? I think it's inevitable with big Division I universities that's kind of the direction that, you know, hopefully everyone will go in. But I think you want to kind of be on the right side of history with that, right? You want to be the leaders rather than the followers. And I think BYU is starting to do that, right? Which is, you know, I mean, you can see Joel, we have a great marketing team at BYU, but Joel kind of like led that charge for us this year. And just the fan experience in general, like we got some curtain drops this year, the lights that, you know, the light shows that we had, like all that sort of stuff that generates a more enjoyable fan environment, and that creates so much more opportunity for growth, right, in individual programs, right? So I just think, I think that, you know, BYU needs to continue to do it, but I think they're on the right track with creating that environment where people want to go to games. And then you see Gonzaga and you see, oh my gosh, like you know, it was just like, that was the most emotional thing for me for senior night. Like, obviously we had a great game, you know, it was the last home game, but just the crowd and the atmosphere, it was like, this is what it could be like, right? And this is what it should be like, because we're really good, we're really entertaining. Like, that was an entertaining game, right? You can't really tell me many people walking out of that gym being like, you know? So I just feel like there is so much opportunity there. And it was just so exciting to see that, right? Like, this is the future. This is the future right here. And we're seeing small glimpses of it, but this is what it's going to be like.
You know, you and this team as a whole are really such examples to young girls that are women in sport. And you talk about that in your podcast, how it's so important to have that. And sometimes growing up, that isn't always the case. You don't always have that example. But as you think about those young girls, what is something that you would say to them, advice you would give to them as they continue and begin their journey as a woman in sport?
I would say the number one thing for women in sports is knowing your worth. That would be my number one advice to anyone playing college or even high school, basketball, sports, whatever it is. Know your worth, because I think your worth is so often attached to who you are as an athlete and your identity, that sometimes you kind of have to separate that and know who you are separate of that to know what you deserve, right? And I think for me personally, it took me many years of college athletics to realize that the questions I had or the kind of concerns that I was thinking about were valid, because so often women get pushed in this box where it's like, just be grateful for anything, right? Rather than, hey, I can have gratitude and still know that I deserve more, right? So I think that's probably the biggest thing I would push for younger girls or younger women entering the world of highly competitive sports is knowing your worth, because I think it will also help you as an athlete, as it's such a mental side of sports. And I think that it's so important to understand who you are separate from that, right? So you can ask for what you want and you can stand up for what you need, separate of performing or making shots and doing all that, or having success on the field or the court or whatever it is. It's just knowing who you are fundamentally, that's going to keep you in a really safe, strong, confident position.
That is such a powerful message. Thank you so much, Tegan.